Okay, there we go. We're recording. So awesome. Welcome everybody to our Thursday night leadership call. I was just on a call that most of you know that Lisa and I got accepted to Cole Hatter's mastermind, which only about 5% of people that apply for that mastermind get accepted. And I will just tell you guys this too, that as you go through personal development and leadership, okay, I'm tied into John Maxwell tonight. At the end, I'm going to give away a course that Brandon and Lynette Cunningham are going to be a part of and developing. That'll be coming up pretty soon. But I've been blessed, as I said earlier, to be able to be a part of John's new course, Developing a Leader Within You. And it's a live session with John, which is they've been incredible. I just finished the first one today. I spent 2.5 hours putting slides together for you guys so that you guys can have this information if you want. I'm adding it to Dropbox. I did some branding this week. You can see I have a new branding logo on there. And Lisa and I are leaving tomorrow morning at 5:30 in the morning to go spend time with Kevin and Devonna Stimson, who own a company called Strive and Grind, which is a branding company. And we're super excited. And I just got off of Cole's mastermind week, monthly mastermind call with Mark Lack. And Lisa and I attended Cole's event Thrive just this past year. And I was getting to that point of saying that if you do stuff for personal development and for entrepreneurship outside of like GoPro and our normal events, you want to go to Thrive. They're going to be announcing the date next week at our mastermind. Lisa and I will be in Vegas next week. I'm actually going to surprise somebody and ask them to do the call next week. So it's actually somebody that I gave a copy of John's book to. So I'm guessing that he's probably guessing who that's going to be. So he hasn't unmuted and said anything yet. So I think I'm in good standing. So, but what I wanted to do tonight is I'm going to read some things to you out of John's books, but I'm going to let you listen to a couple things. But what I want you to remember is take notes, because at the end, there's a little quiz. There's always a little quiz at the end, and I'm going to give something away at the very end of this call. So, as I said, and I've got the questions written down. I've even got a bonus question here. So, and what's that? And Lisa didn't pick them this time. So it's all good. So I'll be able to read them, and you guys will know what's actually going on, which is kind of funny. We joke about that all the time. So let's get this thing cranking. Okay. So Developing the Leader Within You 2.0. Did somebody left something in the chat box? Oh, she's a mean teacher, Chris said. That's pretty cool. Good job, Chris.
No, not good job.
I'm just kidding. Bad boy, Chris. But anyway, what I wanted to share with you guys tonight is this first two chapters of John's book. As you can see, I got it here in front of me, Developing the Leader Within You. Guys, this stuff I think it's some of his best book, and you're going to see why. He sold 3 million copies of his first version of Developing the Leader Within You. It became the second greatest leadership development book of all time. And then he revised it. And he revised 85% of it. And people asked him why. I'm sure that a lot of you would ask him why too. And he said, because he's not the same person that he was 25 years ago. He's developed into a different leader over 25 years. And he said, your best work yesterday shouldn't touch your work that you do today. When you grow, you're not the same person as you were before. Value your work today, but tomorrow is a new day to grow more. So I love that. And most of you guys know the story with me and John. I actually went to a small church in Lancaster, Ohio, where I'm from, and John was the pastor at the church that I went to. And I always said to my mom, hey, I know who John is. And she's like, no, you don't. And then I figured out that I really did. And most of you know my story. I blocked out a lot of my childhood because I grew up in an alcoholic family. And so I finally, when I heard John's story about him being a pastor in Lancaster, Ohio, it was a church that a bus used to pick me up outside of my house. It was a bus that John paid $800 for. He was in his 20s. And so I understand the growth that John has had. That church is no longer the same that it was when John was there. It was the largest thriving church in America at that time. So let's talk about the 5 levels of leadership. And let's talk about chapter 1. And let's talk about the definition of leadership. And you guys are going to love this because it's what I've been talking about for weeks. The definition of leadership is influence. It's influencing people. And John said 25 years ago, people thought leadership was a title or a position. Dr. Huey and I did a meeting last night, and he said he used a great example of a pyramid scheme. And we guys all hear that about network marketing. And John said, I'm the leader of a pyramid scheme. And what I really liked about what he said when he said that is, he said, I'm the head of Tarpon Total Healthcare, and nobody's higher than me. And then I thought about it when we were on the home, and I thought maybe his wife is. So I was going to mess with him, but we always thought that. And guys, as you come on, please mute yourself if you can. Some of them will mute as you go, but just mute yourself if you can. And then he said that he taught this for 10 years as the 5 levels of influence until people started to figure out that influence was leadership. Guys, this is what I've been learning from Cole and Nicholas and some of the mentors of the groups that Lisa and I are involved in. And today was just a massive eye-opener for me. And so you can see the 5 levels of leadership here: position, permission, production, people development, and Pinnacle. And I'm going to go over all these. So number 1 is position. Level 1 is position. People follow you here because they have to. Great place to start, but a terrible place to stay. The position doesn't make the leader makes the position. When John said this, I realized something back from my childhood that my grandmother used to say. She said, as you develop into the person that God created you to be, when you develop that leader, and I'll just tell you guys this, I'll just be transparent and open and honest with you guys like I always am. I feel that now at 49 years old, I'm actually walking out my purpose that God has called me to be. As I said, I was just on one of Cole's calls, and Cole let me ask one of the first questions, and I asked Mark, and I've built a relationship with Mark. Lisa and I met Mark Lack. Mark made $1 million, told me he made $1 million, mentioned something about making $1 million this week. And most of it was through personal branding. And what I learned is that, as this says, as John said, the position doesn't make the leader makes the position. And you guys have seen that in business. Leaders at the top of the company leave and try to go do something different, and they lose everything they have. And that's because they weren't leading from where they were. One of John's books that I read back in college, and I read it because the football coach at Ohio State, Jim Tressel, made all of the players read it. It was called The 360-Degree Leader. And it talks about leading from where you are. And John, that book went to be a bestseller. And John says, it's where you learn. And here's what I want you to remember. At level 1, this is what you learn. You learn what you're good at and what you're bad at. And we all know from the teachings that if you focus more on what you're good at, you'll walk out more of your purpose of where you're supposed to be. At this level, people follow you because they have to. And he said people do the minimum it is to keep their job. Like he used this one thing about leaving at 4:30. You're done at 5 o'clock, but people start leaving at 4:30. So they're sorting you 30 emotionally. They've checked out at 4:30. So number 2 is permission. At this level, people follow you because they want to. You get major increase in energy from your people because of relationships built. And you guys can see it. It says right on here, people follow you because they want to. Here's the downside of it. They become your friend and they like you and they suck your energy out of it. Now, there's good and bad in this. And You guys will hear more about this as we go through. Relationships. Hey guys, if you can still mute yourself when you come on, there's a lot of people that have came on now. If you guys haven't muted yourself, please mute yourself, because there's a lot of background noise. I guess I'm gonna have to mute people. All right, cool. All right, so I found them. Okay, so relationships are not leadership. Just because people like you doesn't mean you're a good leader. Guys, this is so big. You know, so many people have a negative connotation about certain people. I'll just use this. A lot of people had a negative connotation about Ty Lopez, okay? I began to get to know Ty Lopez through Cole's mastermind, and Lisa and I spent one Saturday watching one of his courses of how to increase your credit score. And I thought, wow, this is the things that we all need to be doing, because as we surround ourselves around people who know more than we do, and we learn, we grow in areas that we may fall short in. So here's three things that you do at this level. One, as the leader at this level, they listen well. Number two, they observe well. And look what he said about observing well. It's not important what a person says, it's what they do. Behavior tells you the potential of a person. They serve well is number three, and then they understand servant leadership. That's what, to me, in life, one of the most important things is servant leadership. So the next level, okay? The next level is level 3, okay? People follow you because of what you've done for your organization or for your company. This is where you become a producer and you become successful. You have kind of met the pinnacle. He used an example, and I'll talk about this. He said if he was starting a basketball team, and he said it was him and LeBron were picking, and KJ's on, he'll appreciate this. He said you wouldn't want John to pick you. You would want LeBron to pick you. So he said when LeBron was picking, everybody would be at the front raising their hand saying, pick me, pick me. He said, but when John was picking, you'd be underneath the table hiding, saying, don't pick me because I'm gonna lose, right? And so he said, surround yourself with people who are winning, people who are thriving, people who are happy, people who are making you better, okay? He said, and I like this, and you guys have heard this before, winners win, right? If you strive to be a winner in life, you're going to be a winner. I mean, I always say the greatest winner in life was Jesus Christ, you know? And so I wanted to read this to you from this book because I thought it was pretty cool. It's called The Gooch Story. And it's on page 14 in the book. If you guys get the book, it's a great book. It says, organizations all over the world are searching for people who can produce results because they understand the impact they make. One of my all-time favorite stories is a newly hired traveling salesman named Gooch, and the reaction he got from his company's leaders when he sent his first sales report to the home office. It stunned the head of the sales department. Gooch wrote, I seen this outfit, which they ain't never got a dim's worth of nothing from us, and I sold them some goods. This is how he wrote it. He said, I'm now going to Chicago. He said, fearful if he did and afraid if he didn't. Fire the ignorant salesman. The sales manager dumped the problem in the president's lap. The following morning, the ivory towered salesman department members were amazed to see posted on the bulletin board above 2 letters written by the ignorant, quote, ignorant salesman. This memo from the president. Here's what he said. He said, we've been spending too much. We've been spending like, you know, trying to be funny. We've been spending too much time to spell instead of trying to sell. Let's watch those sales. And he put sales because people weren't, you know, they were making fun of him. He said, I want everybody should read these letters from Gooch, who is on the road doing a great job for us. You should go out and do what he does. And this was Gooch's story. When you lead a productive team, people will want to do what you did. And it's funny because wasn't the greatest speller. He just went out and did what he knew what to do. And so the upside here is people want to follow you, but the downside is if you're just producing, that isn't a leader. You take leader like Gooch, he sold stuff that people couldn't sell. And people said that they wouldn't be sold, but he knew he could sell it, so he went out and did it. And here's the 3 things at this level that you need to learn. You need to lead by example. That's what people do at this level. They create momentum, and then they attract better people. I can tell you this, that Lisa and I we've been talking about this on a regular basis, about how when you produce results, better people are attracted to you, and you eliminate the bad attraction. It's kind of a form like Seth Mulder was talking about last week of attractive marketing. Okay, so this is level 4. This is the people development and reproduction. Okay, people follow you because of what you've done in their life. You made an impact in their life. Everything compounds at this level. When you develop others to do what you're doing, and then here's the downsize. Somebody just came on and they're, okay, I found it. Downsize is developing people. The downsize is developing people is hard work. It's hard to reproduce. If it wasn't, everybody would be doing it. I love this. Think about what he said here. Okay? The downsize of this is developing people. It's hard work. It's hard to reproduce. If it wasn't, everyone would be doing it. And here's the 3 things that people do at this level. You have to do these well to be a leader at this level. They recruit well, they position well, and they equip well. Okay? Recruit, position, and equip. All right? And then the final level is the pinnacle. It's where you've gained respect. You might think of a Master Pro 10 or, as Darren says, a Super Galactic Master Pro 12 or whatever it is, right, honey? Yeah. People follow you because of who you are and what you represent, okay? The upside is you get more authority. And Cole was talking about that tonight in a branding course about his company Thrive is called To Make Money Matter, right? He made a statement a while back that he wants to live off of the 10% and give the 90% away. I love that. I mean, that's what Lisa and I want to eventually do. The upside is, as I said, you get more authority. But the downside is if you can begin to live off yesterday, then you're delegated to yesterday. That's so important, you guys. If you begin to live off of yesterday, then you're delegated to yesterday. It's like a Master Pro 10. Like now, Seth Mulder is going out and enrolling new people and doing this social marketing, attractive marketing. Here's what you focus on. How many of you have heard this? Focus on the 20 percenters. Okay? We know what that is, and I'm going to go over that here in a minute. Okay? Teach and encourage others to develop other high-level leaders. And you're going to get this as you go through. Okay? Leadership is influence, and influence is leadership. Nothing more, nothing less. I've been teaching this for weeks. I was completely blown away when John began to teach it from this perspective. Okay, here's chapter 2, real quick. We got 10 minutes. It's great. Okay, chapter 2 is priorities. Prioritizing yourself. Okay? There's no such, I loved what John said this, you guys. This is awesome. I'm going to play a little video that John, just a minute and a half clip of it. But John said, there is no such thing as time management. How do you manage something that has already been set? Right? Think about that. There's no such thing as time management. How do you manage something that's already set? Time management isn't the problem. Priority management is the problem. Okay? And then he talks about, this is what the next version of this is going to be. He's going to talk about the Pareto principle. Okay? The 80-20 rule is the Pareto. 20% of your priorities will bring you 80% in return. If you spend 80% of your time on the top 20% of your priorities. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you this minute clip of John now talking about priorities. So let me play this clip here so that y'all can see this clip on John talking about priorities. Let me find it here. Oh no, that's not it. Hold on one second, guys. I know I have it queued up. So, honey, yeah, can you come help me? All right, I have it. Can you guys, Julia, can you see John Maxwell on the stage, on the screen right there? Okay, pick me a thumbs up. Thumbs up? Because I can't hear you. Give me a thumbs up that it's there. Can somebody give me a thumbs up?
Yes, yes.
Okay, all right, cool, thank you. Okay, so here's just a minute clip of what John's going to talk about. Honey, can you go shut that off, please? Please.
A life-changing principle. And I want to make sure that you get it, because I've watched 2080 work all of his life. And so what happens is this: you prioritize your life correctly, the top 20% of your things. In other words, you have 10 things to do. If you have 10 things to do, here we go. The top 2 things will give you an 80% return. So here's a person doing 2 things, getting an 80% return. Here's a person doing 8 things and getting a 20% return. That's where the expression, it's not how hard you work, it's how smart you work, comes from.
Okay, so hope you guys understood that. I wanted to give you some type of visual so that you guys could truly understand a little bit more about this Pareto principle. He said, and you heard him just say it, it's not how hard you work, it's how smart you work, okay? So think about that. It's not how hard you work, it's how smart you work, all right? So think about it. If you got 10 things to do, you shouldn't be doing 10 things. I love when he said that. You should only be doing 2 things. And this goes back to the principle that I talked about last week that Cole says. Focus on the things you're good at, right? If you find out you're not good at something, stop it. I found out some things this week I'm not good at, okay? I may learn it later, but not right now. Okay, and then he gave some funnies. I hope you guys can remember some of these. It's kind of funny. He said 20% of the roads have 80% of the traffic jams. And he said, stop driving on those roads, which is kind of funny. You just have to get to know John. He's really funny. 20% of the drinkers consume 80% of the beer or wine, he said. 20% of you will be invested in 80% of the info you hear tonight, which I thought is funny. So only 20% of you will be invested in 80% of this info you hear tonight. He said this one was for women. 20% of your clothes will be worn 80% of the time. He said, and then guys, then listen to this. 20% of your friends will take up 80% of your time. He said most of the time it's not good, but some people it's good because they have that inner circle, right? I go back to my scenario about how Jesus had 12 people, but he had 3 people that he was closer to, and they took up most of his time, right? 20% of your results in your business come from 80% of your time. And so think about this. 3 questions that will help you determine who your 20%ers are. I'll use Chris. Chris became a regional manager for his company. He's going to have to find who his 20%ers are. And there's 3 R's that you have to find, that you have to determine. What's your top 20% of what you should spend your time on? What is required of me? What do I have to do that no one but me can do? John said when he first got into ministry, he was at a church in San Diego, and they said the pastor did everything. And he said, well, I'm not doing that. And so he delegated everything but 4 things. So number 2 of the R's, what gives me the greatest return? When I do this, it's profitable. This will always be 3 areas, okay? 3 areas where I'm gifted, where I have experience, and what I'm growing in. Think about that. A giftedness, experience, and what you're growing in. And then the third one is what is rewarding. He said, you will always migrate towards what is rewarding. Okay? He said, when the three, I love this. Think about this. He said, when the three R's are the same thing, everything is in line. All right? Think about this. When the three R's are the same thing, everything lines up. As you grow and get better, you get to choose the three things, but not in the beginning. Okay? Because you're growing, and you're growing in whatever area you're growing in. He said, once you master this, guys, I took notes on this. This is crucial for you in life and in business. Once you master this, you become more productive and you have a better margin in life. And then he taught what margin was. Margin is the space that exists between what you're doing and how much you can do. Okay? What you're doing and how much you can do. If you don't have this, you eventually give up because you lose this time. And then he went on, and I'll show you what he meant by this. If you think people need you, then you will never create margins in your life. Okay? That was incredible when he said that. If you think people need you, you'll never create margins in your life. And he said, here is the value of these margins. I spelled it wrong. He said, energy renewal and more creative thinking. He said, if you don't have these, you'll give up and quit. He said, it's why most people quit businesses, even people who've been successful. And if you've been in LifeVantage for a long time, you've realized that people at the top of the company have quit and tried to do other things and lost everything, right? And that's because they never focus on energy renewal and creative thinking. This doesn't just work on priorities. It works on people. Guys, 20% of the people do 80% of the work. Chris and I talk about this all the time, and Lisa and I do too. Don't give all people equal time. People at the top don't really need your time. You spend time with them because that's where your return is. I can tell you this and all of you should know this. And as this gets farther along, becomes a 500 and a 700 and then $1 billion company, you're going to start to see this happening, okay? Who are your 20%ers? Once you do that and find out, give them 80% of your time. It can be at your work. It could be I used Chris before. It could be in his business, okay? Then you decide what you do together. You come up with a list. You make a list. I'm going to start doing this with my 20%ers, okay? That's what you do. You must serve your 20%ers. They need to be the ones that make the list. And I say this all the time. Tell me what I can do for you. Tell me what I need to change. Tell me how I need to be a better person. That's evolved for me in the last 6 months. It's even more relevant and more passionate in my spirit. So this is, and John said it. He said, this piece right here is the most life-changing information you will put into action in your life. Figuring out this part of your growth, okay? So, awesome. I hope this was encouraging to you guys. It was awesome for me. I'm excited for the next 3 chapters. I'm going to talk to somebody about doing next week's, and I'm going to give him the course because I'm available to give it out. So let's go back to the beginning and let's talk about, get your pencil and piece of paper ready that you've had going. I'm going to ask you these questions and then I'm going to give you a couple minutes as we go through them. Then you're going to come back and I'll give you the answers. Okay. First, how many copies did John's first version of his book sell? Question number 2. What % of the book did he revise? Okay. Question number 3. If I go too fast, just raise your hand or type up in the chat box. What is the definition of leadership? Number 4. What are the 5 levels of leadership? Or not? That was number 4. Number 5. What do you learn on level 1? You learn 2 things. Okay. Question number 6. what are the 3 things you do on level 2? 3 things you do on level 2. Question 7. What are the 3 things that leaders do on level 3? These are pretty easy, guys. Question number 8. What are the 3 things leaders do well on level 4? Okay. And question number 5 is, oh shoot, honey, can you come here for a minute? You didn't write this one out.
We're on number 9, Mike.
Okay, we're on number 9.
Yeah.
What is this?
Level 5. Why did people follow you at this level?
Okay.
And that's the answer. Right?
Okay, why do people follow you at level 5? Why do people follow you at level 5? Okay, question number 10. What is the name of the 80-20 rule?
Okay.
Okay, and then that's me. And then
the red stuff.
no. Then we got a bonus question. Okay. Name the 3 R's to determine who your 20%ers are. Or what's your 20%er? What's your 20%? 3 R's that help you determine your 20%.
20%.
Okay, so you can type your answers in the chat box when you get done. How many copies? 3 million.
Yep.
Okay. Number 2, what percentage of the book did he revise? 85%.
Yep.
Okay. What is the definition of leadership? It's influence. What are the 5 levels of leadership? Position, permission, production, people development, and Pinnacle. Okay, they're right there. All right. Number 5. Okay, what do you learn on level 1? You learn what you're good at and what you're bad at. All right. Number 6. My phone's going off. Honey. Can you see who it is? Honey? So number 6, question number 6 is level 2. What are your 3 things a leader does at this level? He listens, observes, and serves. Number 7, 3 things leaders do at level 3. Lead by example, create momentum, and attract better people. Question number 8, 3 things leaders do well. They recruit, position, and equip. Level 9, or question 9 is on level 5. Why do people follow you at this level? And the answer is who you are and what you represent. And then number 10 is, what is the name of the 80-20 rule? It's called the Pareto principle. And then the bonus question is the 3 R's that help you determine your 20% of what you do is what's required of me, what gives me my greatest return, and what is rewarding. Okay, so let me see up in the chat box how many y'all got. There was 11 questions. Hey, and let's hear it. Does anybody want to give a shout out or type up there what they got? Uh-oh, one person is typing. Mike Hinkie got them all right. Good job. Love it. All right. Anybody else? Richard, you got 10. Good job. Okay. Good job, Mike.
I got 9.
Good job. Who was that?
Dee Dee.
Hey, Dee Dee.
Hi, Mike.
Okay. So if you got 8 or more, you're going to go into the drawing. So if you got 8 or more, you're going into the drawing. So far I got Beth, Dee Dee, Richard, Mike Hinkie. Where's Chris? Chris, you didn't get them all right, bro? Come on, you're always getting them all right. Anybody else? Guys, we had 30 people on here earlier, 25 at least, who there was only, yeah, I guess it's the 20%ers. There's only Beth, Mike, Richard, Mike. Yeah, that's basically 4 people. It's 20%ers. Wow. How funny. Sylvia said she was driving. Okay, so 4 people. Wow. Okay. Guys, all right. I'm happy for you 4 because I know I spent a lot of time on these notes and slides today for those 20%ers. Hopefully the rest of you guys will get some out of this. But so what we're going to do is we're going to draw a name out of this, the couple people that Lisa puts into this thing. I thought today was pretty easy. Last week, Lisa made it really hard. So, I'm grateful that you guys all jumped on tonight. So let's, yeah, let's go. Let's see. All right. Can you guys see who this is? It's Dee Dee.
Make sure we got her email.
Woohoo!
Good job,
Did you know that I never got my last prize?
You didn't?
No, because you were going to give it to me at the training at Pure Vitality, and then
that's all right.
Then we forgot.
I got several things now, so it's good. It's good. So awesome. So I will give your name. Yeah, I'll give your name to Brandon.
Name and email.
And email address. Dee Dee, you'll have to just text that to me. I think I have it, but just text it to me so I can give it to Lisa. So before we go, let me ask if anybody has any questions or any comments about the content that was shared tonight. Because I like it when you guys are interactive. You will remember more when you're interactive. So is there any questions or any comments?
Well, I have the book, and I'm super excited to read it now.
Good for you. It's so good, Dee Dee. One of the things that I really liked about it was I read the other one, and John said that as he's evolved and led by example, I love how he reads. And so I've made a commitment to myself to start reading every morning a little bit more and going through some more books. And his course is just, it's awesome. I mean, I'm super excited.
Do you read one book at a time?
Yeah.
Or do you read?
I'm going to try to read at least 2 or 3 books a month.
Interesting thing he said, Michael, he changed 85% of the book.
Yeah. Yeah. And Michael, he wrote it 40 years ago.
Wow. So there's been a major change. You really have to change to get where you want to go.
Plus, he sold 3 million copies of that book. So, and it became the #2 seller all time of leadership development books. I was 25 when I read it, the other book. So, wow, 25 years ago. How funny. So,
he's a great, what am I trying to say? Speaker. He's a great speaker.
Yeah. Yeah. Teacher.
Very engaging.
Yes.
Keeps you engaged.
Yes. Anybody else? Anybody else want to make a comment? Oh, Beth says it's a good revelation. Yep. Good things to know. We'll get the book now. Yep. Awesome. Awesome. Anybody else? Anybody else want to make a comment? Have a question? Guys, I wanted to tell you that this has been such a great time during the physique challenge. Lisa and I have, we've been doing it. We've been eating healthy and exercising. I was at the gym today for a long time. I think I've lost, even in the first, I think we're at the end of the first, we're at 11 days. I think I've lost 8 pounds of body fat because I know my muscle is going up. And I haven't really, all I changed was I added a little bit more intensity. I've replaced a protein shake a couple times a day for a couple meals, and I added intermittent fasting. And I'll just tell you, in all my career as a trainer and nutritionist and coach, we have an advantage. We have an advantage. Like Becky posted something yesterday about a lady who just started taking the activated essentials and came back a month or so later and had lost almost 25 pounds. So I hope you guys can get a little bit more grasp. I would tell you, here's one thing I want to leave you guys with. Go on Team True Blue, okay? Go on Team True Blue and watch the 4 modules for social media. If you're not good at social media, if you're fearful, there was a girl in there, I think, said she signed up 30 customers from following those modules. PJ is her name, Adier. Yeah, PJ Adier. And so learn them. Learn how to do it. Get outside your comfort zone. And guys, I think we're, a month away from Elite Academy in Indianapolis. So that's getting exciting, because I'll just tell you guys this. I know I said I was going to finish with that, but I'm going to finish with this. The new platform for the app is, I call it sick, because it's awesome. And we're going to be able to enroll customers and distributors, and everything's going to be on one platform. And so I'm excited to learn about it. They're going to teach us at Elite Academy. It's going to be awesome. They did a beta testing, and they've improved it, and they're continuing to improve it. Got another month to master it. They hired this group at Silicon Valley of engineers to have it fixed the way it's supposed to. And as we get closer to, really exploding, this company really exploding, they're going to continue to create stuff for us. So I'll just tell you guys this. People that weren't doing anything with their businesses are starting to do stuff with their businesses now more than ever. We have people coming back that weren't doing anything. We've had people that left, and we're trying to do something else. I'll tell you this, and you guys are going to see this, because our brand, it's my brand, but Lisa and I are working together as a health coach. It's because of Life Vantage that we're able to do it, and it's why we're doing it, because we want to reach more people with these products. We only work with men right now. I obviously do consultations with women, but I record them. So, I'm transparent with my wife. I protect her at all costs. And so, I'm grateful that you guys jumped on tonight. I'm grateful that you guys got to hear this information. The recording will be available. If you text me or email me, I'll send you these slides that you can go back and look through some of this information. But I would tell you guys this, get his book, and learn it. I mean, I think this is one of his best books that he's written. All of his books are good, but man, he's really good. And I'll tell you something really cool. Tomorrow Lisa and I are going to be with Calvin Wayman tomorrow also, out in California. Calvin just happens to be in San Diego this weekend, which I didn't know.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I just found out. And Boyd Barlow and some other people. So you just text me or email something. So, okay, guys, God bless you all. Thank you for being on tonight. Guys, what a great time, and I'll look forward to connecting with you guys next week. If you guys need anything, don't hesitate to call or ask. We pray for you guys and love you guys so much. So thanks again. Have a great night, okay?
Thanks, Mike.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
You're welcome. Thank you, Tammy.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike, you guys.
Bye, guys.